Welcome to the Malifaux Book Club. Today's subject, Malifaux Chronicles, issue number 6.
Bro, your computer has ghosts.
I mean, computers are just little rocks that we trapped lightning into and tricked into thinking, so yes.
Yeah, why did we do that? Why have we done this?
For Halo?
Speaking of characters trapping electricity in various minerals to cause a reaction. Hi, welcome back to the Malifaux Book Club. I'm your host, Nathan. It's me. Hi. And with me is my buddy Roman. I think you know us all.
I mean, not biblically, most of it.
Most of the listeners probably don't know the two of us biblically. This is true. Anyways, so today we are looking at Weird Chronicles issue number 6, which is, what's the date on this bugger?
June 2013.
June 2013.
And it has a delightful bit of art of the Nothing Beast.
Yep. Got that Nothing Beast on the cover. Because, and that's actually relevant to the contents of this issue, this appears to have been, based on the forward and the articles, released basically with the announcement of second edition of Malifaux.
Yep.
So yeah, that Nothing Beast was, the Terra Nightmare box was an early release for second, so that was probably a pretty early reveal of that art, I would imagine.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we can just kind of jump right into it. We get a little forward from Mr. Justin Gibbs. Pretty familiar name at this point, I would imagine.
I've heard that name before.
There's a lot of, I think I talked about this in the last one, but especially when I was glancing over this one, there's a lot of that, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because it's Justin talking about, pulling an all-nighter preparing for the release and start of playtesting for second edition. And it's like, this all seems familiar.
Yep. It's...
And then we can skip the meat
just
here.
over a decade. Yep.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah, it is. Jesus.
Also, at the bottom of that forward, nice line art of the
old 1E Rogue Necro.
Yeah, the Rogue Necro.
That's
good stuff.
Skip a couple pages here. Skip our story. We get an article, Professor Pink article, with not a lot to say, specifically because there wasn't a lot of, couldn't really talk about rules or anything yet since hadn't really seen them yet, but we get a nice little preview into how Soulstones worked in second edition. Again, another thing that seems to regularly change between editions.
Yeah, reading this brought back memories, because we both got into this in second ed. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh man, I haven't stoned to put someone at me at a positive defensively and someone at a negative on damage, and in so long. Man, memories and stuff. But it really kind of drove home to me the not only amount of ways that the game has used Soulstones over the course of its now 4 editions, but the many different design space levers that Soulstones have been.
Yeah.
And how they've adjusted them, and they definitely do different things, but they always are used in that way of this, whatever stones are used for kind of becomes a very central thing for the edition, which makes a lot of sense.
It's always, it always appears to be, and always kind of has been, a very relevant resource, which is good, good design based on what you're trying to tell within the world of the game. Like, it is, they are the magical MacGuffin rock that everyone's fighting over.
Yes, magic don't die rocks.
Yeah, so it's good that they they fill an important role regardless of the edition of the game. I did think it was kind of funny. Point 9, I never played first edition, never really looked at it too hard, but then there was a heal action that you used soul stones for, and now back here in fourth edition, a lot of the namely like the healing energy action is an action you spend a soul stone on. So they kind of got back to that flavor, 3 editions later.
Yeah, as you said, the more things change, the more they stay the same, but in different ways.
Exactly. I don't think I have much else to say about that one. It's just kind of a nice look at things, and it also kind of rings of the like, kind of how we had like the content creators revealing stuff, like mid third edition, having someone come in and write an article, about a pretty significant rules change is cool, and it's a nice way to like, hey, this is a thing that is changing.
Yeah, I think I say it every time we do one of these, but I would in no way be upset if they started doing Chronicles again, even if it was like quarterly.
Agreed.
Or like,
there's a reason we're doing this.
Or something. Yeah.
Next up, we get another painting article by Mark Rogers doing the Puppet Wars, the second edition Puppet Wars models, all the plastics. And it's actually, there's a lot of good. It's not as flashy as the one that was in the last article with like the Masaki that was just gorgeous, but there's a lot of good. I think they just, if you were to go through this article, there's a lot of good fundamentals you could take out of this.
Yeah, as I was reading this, I definitely had the thought of, this isn't the like how to get started from nothing painting instructions I would give someone, but this is the, okay, you have successfully put paint on a miniature, and now you're going, but how do I make it look good?
Yeah, I feel like this is a good article to like break past that first plateau that a lot of people hit.
Yeah, and honestly, there were things in here that I know a little bit of wet blending. It's not something I do often, but the way he describes the blending process on here, on just like wet blending on the model to get that really clean shade from one paint to another. Just the words he's using to describe it fit so much better in my brain than most of the other ways I've read on how to do this. So just this, what is this, like 10 pages or something?
Yeah, it's pretty extensive article because, I mean, he's going over a lot of models. Like it's Alice, the Judge, the Executioner, a Ronin, December Acolyte, Convict Gunslinger, Cherub, Silrid, Masaki, or not Masaki, Lady Justice. Like there's a lot of models that he covers the process on.
Yeah, it looks like it's like 13 pages, and there's like pictures in there too, but
yeah, pictures,
most of it is dense and useful words. Like if you are someone who is like, I've been painting a minute, but I want to like really get some of these foundations down that I maybe don't feel I'm as strong as I could be, or I want to just look at a new take on them that can help in a lot of those cases, check this one out.
Yeah, probably the most advanced technique is probably the parasol on the bell.
Oh my god, this
gorgeous
fucking lace parasol. Yes, I was just like, I have never in my brain thought to do any lace on any model other than there might, I think it's on like one of the dandies has some at like one of his.
Yeah, he's got like those really
wrists.
cuffs. Yeah.
But even then it was like, okay, I'm going to like throw an off-white on here and highlight the edges. Like it wasn't anything amazing. And I'm looking at this going, oh, yeah, okay.
It's brilliant.
Now I want more lace on my minis.
Yeah. Like, and especially because it's like coming from a flat model, but like you can see where the inspiration came from for the lace parasol. Also, he does a lot of work. Like a lot of these, and like a big bugbear for a lot of people is painting in white. And a lot of these he does variations on whites.
Yep.
So I think that's good. I like how the Executioner looks like he's wearing a baseball.
Yes.
He just looks like a little angry baseball man. But yeah, I think there's especially if you're like if you're having difficulty with whites, this would be a good resource to look at.
Yeah,
just to get some inspiration on that.
Also, I really love the puppet Slurrid. I don't think I'd seen that one before.
Oh yeah, that's a great model.
Yeah,
I've seen a number of people use that. Obviously, back in 3rd edition, as a alt would use it for the first mate, just because it was fairly easy to get, and then you just give it like an anchor and a hat, and it stands in nicely for the first mate. For those Arida players who didn't want to pick up a zip box, which you don't really need to do anymore, but.
I mean, other than Zip's fun, you can play more than one faction.
You should pick up Zip anyways. Next up, we have an article by Octavius Villar called "The Cards Above," which is a kind of a deep dive into community organizing. It's about formerly the Henchman program, which was your Malifaux TOs and community organizers, and just kind of talking about his process. Regarding that and growing a community, which I imagine was, especially in that, from what I understand, much like any of the transitions we've seen, transitioning between editions is always fraught with a bit of difficulty.
Yeah, well, it's always most difficult for the established players, and then you have the new players. Their big difficulty, at least, is fairly universal of where do I start?
Right.
And I did think this had some really good general knowledge on like if you are trying to build a community, whether it is now as we have kind of a new edition going on, or just really in general. Again, great information here. There might be some details that don't really apply to a given situation or whatnot, but I'd rather have them there and someone says that doesn't apply to my situation, but this one does, than someone go, but I need a little detail for this specific niche. But yeah, overall, very, very good words here on how to move forward if you're struggling to build a community.
Yeah, or if you're, lacking a community and deciding to take that first step. Because someone's got to do it.
Yep.
I think we both know well enough. Someone's got to do it.
Yep.
Next up, we have another little comic with what I like to call the beta version of Ezekiel. The wannabe resurrectionist gremlin. Yeah. Which, if they ever gave us an alt for Ezekiel where he's got this hat, I think that'd be lovely.
Yeah,
they give him like a Nicodem costume. I think that'd be great. Cute little comic. He's talking to Yanlo about achieving eternal life and stealing people's life energy, their chi, and then he attempts to do it, and then Bet Noir steals his kill.
Yeah,
yeah, it's cute.
Every stinking time.
Yeah.
Very cute. I would absolutely read. Oh God. So, Malifaux has newspapers. What do you think their comic page looks like?
Oh God, yeah. Someone's got to be drawing funnies.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's got to be drawing funnies.
Oh, that'd be a great.
Which means,
oh my God, weird. Give us a gremlin cartoonist for the journalist keyword.
Yes.
Give us the little typewriter gremlin and make him a cartoonist.
Yes. But yeah, no, that'd be great, because obviously in the Tatler you have your political cartoons, but propagandized. Probably got your well, not publicly Union, but you got your Arcanist flyers going out everywhere. I'm sure they have actual political cartoons.
Yeah.
And of course the Gremlins have to have something going on, because they've got to mimic everybody.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm sure there's some gremlin who got their hands on a keyboard or typewriter and yeah, that's got to be a thing somewhere. Also, I feel like the dude in this little cartoon is based on probably someone at Weird. And I'm curious.
Yeah,
it just seems like a very specific
it's Rory, by the way, guy.
Not parody, but
drop in.
Yeah, it feels like someone was like, just doodling someone for their bête noir victim.
Yeah. Kind of as much as you can see it in the line art, kind of a modern haircut.
Yeah.
Almost gives me Jane from Firefly vibes with like the hair with the little bit of the goatee.
Yeah, he's got the little goatee and kind of the kind of curlier shortcut, kind of the receding hairline.
Yeah, no cunning hat, but what are you gonna do?
And then last up we have the signature Justin Gibbs. These are the frequently asked questions about what's coming in the next edition.
Copy and paste to now.
Oh god.
Oh boy. But yeah, no, they again, the more things change, the more they stay the same, but different more. Because what in his third paragraph here of like, you've definitely reached a point of system reboot. 1.5 has definitely reached that point. It's hard for players to get into the game. There's complexity creep, errata, online rulings, lots of clutter of that design. So,
I mean, I'm just going to look at this last, second to last topic technically. I don't like that you took out the complexity. Why did you do that? Just going to knowingly stare at the camera.
As well as the well measured and thought out and correct statement following.
Like several paragraph statement following that question, which again, I get. I feel that, Justin.
Yeah, that is a half a page because it's one whole column. And then a little bit on the previous column and a little bit on the next page. That is almost a 2-page answer on that one.
Yep.
And I still have the sense of like, that is just the general shape of that statement just lives in Justin's brain, just bouncing around like the DVD player screensaver for whenever a new edition pops up. He's like, well, let me pull this out. We're going to need it. Oh, let me update that number to the new one.
Working on 4th edition. Haven't I heard this before? Am I in like a time loop?
Yep.
Incredible work. Yeah, with that, I think we can scroll back up.
Oh. I wanted to say one thing in there that I really appreciate.
Yeah. What you got?
His comparison of for the complexity versus depth. How he's talking about like Monopoly is a more complex game than Go, but Go is so much deeper, even though the rules are stupid simple.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, counting on no fingers the number of people I've ever heard that said they truly enjoyed a game of Monopoly, versus while I'm not like huge into Go, like I've played it and I've enjoyed it and I would like to play it again.
You would play it more than you would play Monopoly.
Absolutely. That bar is subterranean. I would have to join the Resurfaction to go dig up that bar.
Oh, hey, speaking of the Resurfaction. What a segue.
The day that McMorning creates a segue is the day that I consider playing his keyword.
That's what the reverse contour I can ride on. Anyways, so now that we've scrolled back up, we have Formaldehyde Nights by one Graham Stevenson. If you can't tell by the name, this is going to be a McMorning-focused story.
What? No way.
Yeah, I don't know what would give that away. So yeah. So this one, I mean, all the way through this one, compared to like the last one, which was, I don't want to say, I mean, the last one had its comedic moments. This one is just like, you take that serious dial, we're going to turn it down a little bit, and then we're going to crank the comedy dial up quite a bit.
This story, my way of saying what you just did, this story could have been written by a Malifaux version of Mel Brooks.
Oh God, yeah. Like it's very slapstick.
Exactly. It's that perfect slapstick. I actually ended up listening to this one. I was a little light on time. And I do want to say one thing. I really like the lady they have reading the Chronicles. She does a great job. The one thing that bothered me, and this is the first one I've been able to say this about, is she kept doing a very English accent for the very Irish doctor. And so I was kind of like overlaying that, Douglas McMurning in my head. But she still does a great job, but that threw me out of it just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I essentially was imagining listening to this, a Leslie Nielsen in a McMorning costume.
I love that.
Right?
So, anyways. So it starts off with the good doctor in his office, his what would that be? What's the word I'm looking for? Operating room? Coroner's office,
medical theater.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's where
like that.
where he does the coronery.
Yeah, he's in the slabs.
Yeah, and he's got some kind of some little box contraption thing that he's poking around on. That he's got essentially like firing off electrical signals to a corpse that he has laying on a slab with the brain pan open. And he's like poking around at needles. And he basically lays out that he's kind of like trying to map essentially map the neurological pathways that cause the body to move in certain ways, with, various electrical signals. And that all goes out the window whenever he pushes a couple pins a little weird and the corpse farts.
Yeah.
And that thoroughly distracts him and basically has him, just puppeting the body around and doing all kinds of silly nonsense.
And not just like puppeting around, but like while it's silly and you can tell he's very much having an ADHD tism moment of like hyper focus on I hit 2 wires at once. Weird thing happened. What happens if I do all of these in this other order? Da 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 da. Like figuring out every permutation. He spent the next hour moving a peanut around the corpse's face using only twitching muscles while giggling hysterically. Nate, I want you to imagine for me, if you will, laying on your back with your own brain intact, with a peanut on your face, and moving it around your face with just muscle twitches. You or I, with our own fucking control over our muscles, could not do this for 2 hours.
It's a wonderful way to drive home how competent and yet absolutely insane this man is.
Yes,
it absolutely sells the just like. He has the corpse unwrap a cigarillo, put it into his mouth, and light it with a match.
Yeah. Which, as anyone who has ever, like, I don't know, had a bandage on their index finger or thumb will tell you, that sort of thing. Laughter, because I have both of those at the moment because I was stupid. Will tell you, that's not actually a difficult thing. Oh shit, my dexterity has been compromised ever so slightly. Oh my god, what the fuck? Why have I done this to myself? Now try doing that with whatever post-rigor mortis muscles you have available in a corpse.
Right. Hell, anyone who's played QWOP tell you how hard it is to pilot a body that's not yours.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. But eventually he is roused from his playtime, as it were, by everyone's favorite little assistant Sebastian. Who this is? I don't remember. Just the characterization of Sebastian changes from time to time. This is in the era of Sebastian doesn't really talk. Everything's just kind of implied. Like McMorning can kind of intuit or just decide what Sebastian is intending.
Which, until about 2/3 of the way through this story, I was remembering, I think it was a conversation we had on the podcast of, was it in 2nd edition with like the main stories that you could kind of read those as Sebastian is a figment of McMorning's imagination? Because like he never interacts with anybody else. I could be talking out of my ass here, but I was vaguely remembering that conversation.
I don't know. I think you're thinking about Donnie from Big Lebowski.
How do you do, fellow morgue assistants?
I don't. I mean, I don't hate that casting for Sebastian.
Right?
And McMorning's frustrated because, he was having a good time. And, he didn't want to get interrupted. But he's able to intuit that it's the guild has come a-calling, and he's wondering why they're calling at such a late hour. He's on his own personal time. Until he realizes, no, he's been playing with this corpse throughout the entire night, and it's actually morning.
Yay!
He pulled an all-nighter corpse party.
I mean, he had so much to do. There was Peanut face moving, and then a little bit of an orchestral movement via Peanut nose blockage. I'm really kind of surprised he didn't have the corpse get up to make him coffee once he realized it was morning.
I feel like McMorning's the type that coffee works in reverse.
You know what? Fair indeed. I do kind of love just looking at the way this is written. You can see, hey, big meaty paragraph that's very long sentences. All of that is McMorning's internal monologue or statement. 2-word response paragraph of Sebastian
waited.
Verb. Yeah.
Sebastian waited.
Sebastian left.
Sebastian.
Actually, hang on. I know I just said that particular casting for Sebastian. Second option. How bad of an Irish accent do you think Penn Jillette could do? Because Teller as Sebastian would be spectacular.
Oh, Penn and Teller as McMorning and Sebastian. That does kind of work.
Yep.
That does kind of work.
Hey, weird. There's a free Nightmare and/or Carver, or not Carver, Halloween box idea.
Yeah. We're getting about time for that. I'm curious if we'll see something this year. I hope so. So, the good doctor has to do a little cleanup, throws a tarp over a pile of bodies.
Yep.
Cleans up some limbs. And then he has Sebastian bring in the guild a guild captain who is calling for the coroner.
Yep. And he is in fact not a feckless captain. He is Captain Feckler.
Incredible.
I legit wonder if that was planned for this particular thing.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Given the number of doctor-related puns that McMorning just has him in stitches in the first couple paragraphs of their meeting.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple bits like that. And this captain is, comes to inform McMorning that there's been a number of disappearances. Six guardsmen have disappeared, specifically on the morgue level of the Guild Enclave.
What?
That is crazy.
No way. I didn't hear anything.
A rogue necromancer is making guardsmen disappear. Isn't that weird? Specifically
Again,
on the mortuary level.
Again, it's honestly got to be a stage magician. Making guardsmen disappear, making them reappear in a slightly altered state elsewhere.
And then McMorning distracts this man with a number of Reserie-style puns. It's been as quiet as the grave. My manners can get a little stiff. You know the types. You've heard your local Reser player spout these off.
Yeah. Yep. While they had to dig deep to find all of them, they did have me rolling. But Feckler is quite upset with this, and he's going to he's letting the good doctor know, well, I'm planning on essentially performing an investigation in depth, what does he say, a whole squadron or something of dudes he's bringing to just focus this down, and McMorning's going, oh no, all of my free time and ability to not care if I look like I'm doing anything official.
Yeah, so McMorning has to devise a plan with his loyal Sebastian to get all of his fresh corpses out from where they might find them.
Relatively fresh.
So we got our page break here, our episode break, if you will. In the if you're following along, this is, what did I say? Chronicles are 15 and 16 on the podcast.
15, 16.
Yeah. So, should you want to listen to them yourself, or download the Chronicle itself, 15 Chronicles 15 and 16 on the Breachside broadcast, or Chronicles issue 6 through DriveThruRPG for free, both of them, because we're just
or do both at the same time, you cowards.
Yeah, audiobook style. It is a faithful rereading. But anyways, so at the turn of night, it gets dark, and McMorning decides to start leading his posse of bodies.
Yep.
He's running around in his own trench coat and wide-brimmed hat for some reason.
I just kind of imagine that wide brim hat has to be just like guild standard issue.
Yeah, that was definitely taken off of a guardsman or a death marshal or something.
They're not going to miss it.
They'll let them hats. So he's got his squad that he's leading to try to get them out.
Yeah, I do want to call out again, just showing his competence at his role, if not job. While these are not spectacular corpses walking around and reanimated, he had put 6 bodies together, aptly worded, reassembled and reanimated in 10 hours.
With no sleep.
Presumably. And little to no help. Yep. With 2 sets of working hands.
Hey, Sebastian presumably helped.
Yeah. 2 sets of working hands.
And however this contraption works, they're all hooked up and operating under its control, so yeah.
Oh, and cleaned up and sewn back the uniforms together as well.
That is damn impressive.
Yeah, in 10 hours. Anybody who has done any kind of cosplay will tell you no.
Yeah.
But like he's going on of like, this is not going to survive anything more than a quick glance. We're lucky it's a really dark night. But I'm just sitting there going, this is still fucking impressive. Like, you may have turned in the term paper on like no sleep and having slapped it together, but you still got a B?
Yeah, you're still getting a B in necromancy.
Exactly. You passed. It's fine.
Good job. They're all wired up to his weird little box. And of course, during their, covert operations, it's not too long before they run into a guild patrol of living guardsmen.
Which, at this point, McMorning does okay. He's like, I'm taking some of your friends. They're going to help me move some heavy lab equipment. Oh, we can help. No. You all need to stay and watch the gate. It's fine. Everything is fine until Mr. Freckles appears.
Mr. Captain Feckler. Clearly a man driven by his ego, as we will get into further.
Yeah, I kept going back and forth, and I don't know how much of him is pure ego versus is he just one of those guys that like really believes in
the mission,
in the mission, and like as his role as an officer, I need to make sure the men are taken care of, and like if it's more on that one, especially the last bit, like good on him.
I think
it doesn't work.
My read on him is, especially with how easy it is later on to kind of deflect him by praising him, I feel like his ego is tied to the mission. His ego is tied to the guild mission. And there is like some genuine concern for his men in that, but I feel like a lot of that is self-serving.
Yeah, it's not all window dressing, but it's more than you'd like it to be.
He's a guildsman through and through. Like that's the best we can say about him, is that he is a believer, for better or worse.
Yeah. But this is really where the comedy of errors kicks off. If this were a Guy Ritchie movie, this is when Zorba the Greek would start playing.
Yeah, I love that Feckler has like created this whole scenario in his head. Like immediately, there's just an immediate like. Obviously, McMorning is a loyal and ambitious employee of the guild with zero ulterior motive, and he is out here to help me catch this rogue necromancer. Because why would the guild coroner, a man who regularly deals with dead bodies, how could he possibly be the rogue necromancer that's running around kidnapping and killing my men? Impossible.
Clearly, this guild coroner takes his job so seriously that he is upset that anyone is making more dead bodies for him to have work.
Exactly. Like he's really getting to the root cause of death on these guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's going, well, the autopsy is these guys died. I need to collect 6, weirdly the same number of people who have gone missing, but 6 other people who totally have real names, we promise.
We'll get there.
And we will he's going off on his own outside of the 200 guys that I have organized to run this inspection. He and these 6 dudes and his weird little assistant are off and running to go search. By God, I'm going to go with them because they're going to be the ones that figure it out.
These are the real heroes right here. This is what it felt like to play Guild or McMorning and Guild in 2nd edition. No one will ever know. Also, we get a nice, I like the cut of your jib. You know, that's always good.
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh, he's that kind of person.
Yeah.
He says, unironically, I like the cut of your jib.
I mean, I feel like more people did back then, but it's still, it's nice to see.
As a non-naval professional, he likes the cut of someone's jib.
You know, that's fair. They're not really naval, are they?
Oh, man.
So McMorning realizes that he's going to have to keep this charade up because this captain is not going to leave them alone.
Mm-hmm. He's very impressed that the zombie soldiers like are perfectly in step. They like hold salutes like they're made of stone, like they don't move a damn thing. Problem is, he starts asking them questions like, "Hey, what's your name?"
Yep. And Nick Morning has to do the weekend at Bernie's, has to talk for him.
Yep. Well, and I love that they're making sounds initially because the captain is like hitting them with his swagger stick to be like, "Aha, you're doing such a good job. What's your name?" Which of course is making whatever air is in their lungs go, "Ugh." And McMorning is doing his like, "I'm going to interpret for this guy." That's their name. It's Scandinavian.
What a good bit.
Right? And just imagine in your head a very Naked Gun situation going on here.
Yep.
Oh man. Just Leslie Nielsen with a really bad Irish accent.
Yep. It's wonderful. So yeah, McMorning tells Sebastian to just keep him out of the light. We're just gonna keep him in the dark. We'll get through this.
Yep.
There's a few more hijinks where they have to deflect from the zombies accidentally trying to munch the captain, who still doesn't catch on.
Yeah, I do have to wonder, because they don't really touch on this. At what point did we go from these are just dead bodies being electrically puppeted to, oh no, we actually zombified them and they are trying to bite the guy? Yeah,
I imagine it's kind of it's like a somewhere in between, but again,
yeah, no, it's. I'm not saying it's inconsistent. I'm saying like I find the spectrum of that kind of where McMorning's resurrectionist flavor lies somewhere between like full on magical resurrection versus scientific.
Yeah,
I always find that he's one of the more interesting classic resers, quote unquote, because of that. To
me. My read on it is that a lot of it is the resurrection is magic. The control is non-magic. That's kind of what's implied here, because they've got all the wires hooked up, and it's the electricity to the brain that's causing, them to act as Sebastian and McMorning want. So, like, they are autonomously resurrected, but without the impulse from McMorning's devices, and that's where whenever you see is the models for McMorning, all of them have, like, bits and electrical bits and metal bits sticking everywhere. That is the control. To me,
that makes sense.
The control is science, the resurrection is magic, and it is the blending of the two for the character.
And that is ultimately the thing that the sane corner of McMorning's brain is trying to figure out the blending together of. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that's my read on it. But
I dig that. That's a nice, concise way to put it.
Where were we? Sneaking around, trying to stop the zombies from killing the captain.
Translating one of the zombies saying a very poorly formed version of brains.
Oh, yeah.
Translating that into, well, clearly no underhanded resurrectionist bad person could outfox the brains of a captain of the guild.
Yeah.
Stroke that ego.
Yeah.
Stroke it.
That's definitely, where a lot of, like, this guy's got an ego.
Yeah. At one point, Sebastian makes them salute the captain so hard, one of the hands flies off and hits Sebastian in the face.
Yeah, which is a good lead into, like, how they're starting to deteriorate, because, like,
yeah,
they weren't, in McMorning wasn't intending for them to be going for this long.
Yeah, these were lab prototypes for testing, not production models.
Yeah, so they're starting to fall apart as they keep moving. They're losing bits, losing fingers and toes and ears and such. One of them's
almost like the reason guild autopsies were cheap models.
One of them's got his neck snapped back and he's just staring at the ceiling. And there's at least, did I miss the point where basically he has to keep him away? Oh, that was I think the brains part where they had to, like, keep him away from essentially the sewer entrance to his secret lab.
Yeah.
Notably, because he knows he's got even more shit down there that he's got to keep the captain away from.
Yeah.
But eventually they come across a room of chemicals and formaldehyde and such.
Literally just called the chemical room.
The chemical room! Everyone's favorite room.
Yeah. I was listening to this with Megan in the same room. She was like, seriously, are they making a Batman villain?
I mean, yes, it's Dr. McMorning.
Yeah, exactly.
If anyone is a Batman villain, Dr. McMorning would fit right in the cast. Yep. As his PhD. He's insane. You drop that man in Gotham City and shit.
Perfect.
Bruce will be punching the shit out of him by morning. But yeah, so McMorning decides that this is the perfect place to clear up some evidence and create a nice distraction. So he screams out that the rogue necromancer or villain or however he puts it is in the chemical room, and him and Sebastian send the zombies in, and he pins the captain to the wall to keep him from actually seeing what's happening in there, and with the pretense of he's trying to keep him safe.
Yeah,
which really speaks to, like, imagine McMorning's got to be pretty strong if he's holding this captain back. I mean, either that or the soldier's particularly weak, but, like, he's a soldier of some kind.
I mean, he lugs around at least one person at a time's dead weight as part of his hobby.
Yeah, like, I imagine McMorning is just, like, secretly shredded under that lab coat.
Yeah,
he's not like wiry muscle.
If there were an anime of Malifaux, McMorning is 100%, like, everybody thinks Von Schill's gonna be the guy, but McMorning is 100% the guy that, like, walks up, shakes someone's hand, and that, like, ripples the muscle to just, like, tear his lab coat.
He, like, rips the coat off and he's just, like, fucking shredded under there because he's carrying bodies around regularly.
Yeah, it turns out his first name is McMorning. His last name is Armstrong.
Oh God. Ugh, someone really wrong with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they fake a fight, have all the zombies trundle in very clumsily, and more slapstick shenanigans as they're saluting and high kicking through the door, knocking over chemicals, until eventually, essentially, McMorning tells Sebastian to like crank the machine to its maximum, which causes a burst of electricity that triggers an explosion because numerous
electricity in a random chemicals? No way.
Fuming chemical room causes a nice green yellow fireball
that knocks them back like 30 feet or something.
Conveniently destroying any evidence there would have been of a necromancer and 6 guardsmen, quote unquote.
Yep.
Oh no, they all died. There's no evidence.
Yep. And then once he realizes, oh, I didn't die in a blaze of glory for the guild, but I got to see these 6 heroes do so. Captain Feckler's all like, well, they clearly need a monument. And you know what goes on monuments? People's names. Yep. I need to know their names. Dr. McMorning, who were these 6 brave fellows?
Which the good doctor has draws a blank and has the bright idea of checking in with Sebastian for some names.
Yep. Which pretty immediately gets into the Tatler because of how excited Feckler is about it. What do they call him? The Selfless 6? Yep.
And then the voice from the breach, which is essentially the Arcanist paper. Calls them the Baker's Half Dozen, which is also really funny.
That's really funny.
Like that feels like the kind of name you come up for like you're playing through the breach and that's what you call your party.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're a bunch of fucking idiots.
And weirdly, this goes into a really good public relations boost for the guild. Like, instead of, what do they even say? The local guardsmen on patrol duty stopped dodging spittle and rotten fruit and began receiving congratulations and hearty handshakes for a job well done.
Yep. We get the names that Sebastian or McMorning. We don't really necessarily know exactly how that went down, but we get privates Odd, Bod, Lumpy, Bumpy, Dancer, and of course Private Parts.
Yep.
Couldn't leave that one out.
Couldn't leave that one out. Yep.
So McMorning goes to the PR run in the next afternoon. Which means he's going on like what? This is day 3 with no sleep.
Yeah.
I bet he's doing well.
Oh yeah, he's perfectly fine and very sane looking.
Yep. So they're taking pictures with Captain Feckler, the heroes who stopped this rogue necromancer. And then after everyone leaves them, the only person left to talk to Dr. McMorning is the governor's secretary. Lucius Matheson. Nothing suspicious has ever happened with that guy.
Oh, never.
Who, I mean, unsurprisingly, Lucius has seen through all of this nonsense. Noting that there were a number of body parts that had signs of advanced decay. And the various left
in a trail right around where all of you were going.
Yeah. While he's reading the newspaper, that's really the aura here, is that Lucius is reading the Tatler like, all right, well, I guess we're doing this now.
Yep. Also, I love that this was kind of foreshadowed, because on the first page of this, McMorning, when he's complaining that the guild captain is here, he's like, "You'd think he'd have something better to do with his day than chase up this sort of thing. What will we have next? The governor's secretary looking for a missing pencil." Again, I had Megan listening to this as I was going. I cracked up at that line after a beat, being like, "Hang the fuck on!" And she's like, "What's?" Yeah, and she's like, "What's so funny about that?" I'm like, "The governor's secretary is Lucius."
Yeah, like I mentally I had clocked that, yeah, they're talking about Lucius. I missed the fact that it's like, oh yeah, it is literally foreshadowing, because here we are at the end, and who shows up, not necessarily looking for a pencil.
Only if he wants to. He's looking for a pencil to use something like Heath Ledger's Joker.
Now what is the fifth person we've talked about in the past episode trying to attack Lucius. McMorning reaches for a scalpel. Lucius is faster and literally pins his hand with his sword cane.
Yeah, turns out when dealing with another master character, Lucius doesn't have underlings go for it. He does it himself.
Well, and they're alone. They're still...
Exactly.
He can drop the pretenses here.
Oh boy, can he.
Oh boy, can he. Yeah, he goes full Lucius mode here. And just basically lays out, like, this is what's happening.
Yep.
This is fine, but I just need to know about it. And you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
And you'd really prefer me to have me scratch your back than your first and second metacarpal bones.
Yeah, the bit where he's like twisting the muscles and the bones, and McMorning's just like, yep, I know it. Yep, you know what you're doing with that. Yep.
This isn't going to cause me. It's going to cause me intense pain, but not like long-lasting effects. Ow!
Oh.
I couldn't have done this better myself. Your sword is as sharp as one of my scalpels.
Then they come to a bit of agreement, and Lucius is like, hey, I need you to do something for me. And McMorning's like, what could you need from me? And then Lucius takes his mask off.
I about shit a brick.
Needs a little bit of plastic surgery for old Lucius Matheson.
Yeah. I was sitting there being like, I'm pretty sure the only other people who have seen that face have not lived to tell the tale.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yep.
Like, anyone who sees Lucius's face does not usually live for much longer.
Yeah. It's one of the last things they ever see.
Yeah. Often the last.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that is how our story ends. Which sets up nicely for, because again, in the context of when this came out, right at the end of first edition, going into second edition, where gameplay-wise McMorning was Guild Resurrectionist,
mm-hmm.
It makes sense to kind of solidify that bond with the story, instead of him just kind of being like always insular and doing his own thing and trying to keep under the radar, having a very like direct encounter, and then also bringing in Lucius to like bridge that gap. I think, again, combining meta and narrative makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, and I think it might be in the Guild Break Room story where McMorning has a head in the freezer, and Lucius he mentions something about it. Like, of course he does, duh.
Yeah.
I forget the specifics, but I had always read that as like Lucius just knows everything. I hadn't read this part, and I'm like, oh no, Lucius straight up knows. And
yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's again, Lucius is always just a great inclusion, especially like in any guild story. Even though I guess you could read this as a Rezo story, it's both.
Yeah,
especially given the time frame. But yeah, just like sprinkling him in there, like just as that like. I'm kind of a face of the guild, but also obviously not. Like,
yeah. And anytime you want to add a layered interest and a hint of pettiness to a guild story, sometimes more than a hint.
Yeah, that is your guy. But yeah, I thought this was a very fun one. I mean, this one actually legitimately had me like going back to it. Like, legitimately had me like at least. I was at work, so I'm not like full out laughing, but at least, having a giggle here and there, like, oh, that's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Especially when you just really kind of like get into it and visualize a lot of the it is well written slapstick, which is, I feel, difficult to do often.
Yeah. Also, on the subject of slapstick, on the last page of this, we have a 2E McMorning art, and I had forgotten exactly how much the Toohey McMorning art always makes me fan cast him as Willem Dafoe.
Oh god, he's such a freak.
So now I have Willem Dafoe running around in my head doing a Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, which I think also still works.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the second edition McMorning is just such a freak.
Yep.
In that very Willem Dafoe where he's got very kind of a very wrinkly kind of face, but it doesn't look old, it just has character.
Yeah, it's one of those faces where it's like, I'm not sure all the muscles connect in the same places as regular people's faces. I think they connect in more places, and he has more specific control of them. Him and Jim Carrey.
yeah, Jim Carrey would also be a good one. For a different way, but also, I mean, especially given the nature of this one, like Jim Carrey could also sell its role.
Spectacularly.
Just a delight. McMorning. I mean, it's McMorning. He's always fun.
Yeah.
Like, you can't not have fun with McMorning is running around your story.
Yeah. It makes me really interested to see, now that we, in 4th, haven't seen specific fluff with him yet, but last we saw him, he was out of the guild. He's just doing Rezer stuff. And as far as funny goes, I'm interested to see how they adapt him to his new line of work with the story.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be a paradigm shift. Like, you still have a bit of the slapstick with his interactions with Sebastian, I'd imagine. Though, as mentioned, Sebastian can kind of evolve as needed. But you don't have that inherent tension of the I can't be found out by the guild.
Yeah, I guess that was always such a crucial part of the character. It will be very like I mean, we have seen a bit of it because we got the bit where Justice was going after him because he, took the judge's body, which is actually probably one of the darker things we've seen McMorning do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously he does kind of like most of the stuff he does is kind of like black comedy style stuff, and that even that still was. I think there is still room to. I think there's both room to still explore his relationship to other members of the guild still, as like just straight up an adversary now, and also explore other relationships as well. Yeah.
And I hope they do that, because while the tension shifting from the guild can't know that I'm right under their noses to the guild can't find me is fine narratively, I feel like that's the same tension that most of the Rezers inherently have where the guild's concerned anyway. I do think with the taking the judge, they could definitely make that more of a personal nature with Justice, but we also know she's not going to only hunt him.
Yeah, but I mean, having done that kind of almost put him, like, he's kind of, I feel like potentially going forward, he almost fills the hole that Nicodem left in that way.
That's interesting, yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
It's like, because like, Seamus is kind of laying low, McMorning is a known factor.
Yeah.
So I feel like with him being the most obvious, like, Lady Justice is like very laser focused on this because he has done this slight. He has kind of filled that role of Resurrectionist persona non grata number 1.
Yeah.
Like, you are the bastard, I am getting you first.
Yeah.
And like, if it's between you and like Riva or Molly or some other Rezer, I am beelining for you first because you are the fucker.
Yeah, you are the problem that we can point at as a like public problem, whereas we've seen Reva and her crew be like, nah, we're chill, just tell the train lady to not screw with us.
Yeah, there was that bit of complexity there, whereas like I think the guild can sell McMorning as an enemy, as a traitor. Yeah, they can sell that as like, look, Rezers are even under our own. They can try to spin it from, oh hey, we've been incompetent, missing this undercover Rezer the whole time, into like Rezers are everywhere. Like, kind of Red Scare,
I was just
Green
gonna say
Scare,
red scare situation. Yeah.
Malifaux, Green Scare. Everyone's a reser. Report your neighbor.
Look, even gremlins.
Even gremlins. I think that, unless you have anything else to say, is a fine way to leave us off.
No, I think that's good. I would just again say, if you or a friend have been like, how do I level up my painting? Read the painting article in here. And if you or a friend have been like, hey, how do I more focusedly get people into the game with new edition? Read the How to Henchman article here.
Yeah. There's a lot of good here, and I think a lot of stuff that is relevant to where we are right now.
Yeah. For extra fun, just imagine either Leslie Nielsen reading them to you, or Willem Dafoe as Leslie Nielsen reading them to you. Your choice.
Oh my. So yeah, I don't remember. Do we have a specific sign off for this?
I don't know. You're the host.
All right. We got a new name. We'll have to work on a sign off later whenever we can, remember to record more than one or two of these every 6 months.
I feel like you did one in the last one when you came up with the name. I don't remember what it was.
I should probably write that down and remember it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that this time. So everyone have a lovely evening. Go read some Chronicles. Go listen to some Breedside broadcasts and enjoy the lore.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Songs used in this production are Villainous Treachery and 5-Card Shuffle. All music is created by Kevin MacLeod and is licensed under Creative Commons.